Hello, hello, hello. So today is a little special as I have access to the new Race for the Galaxy beta on Steam. So I'm going to be taking a look at that, digging around. I've loaded it and made it work, but haven't looked around too much. Made a profile. Apparently multiplayer is going to be available tomorrow, maybe. That's their best guess. You can create a profile. I guess you can do multiple profiles for different people on the same device or something. And I think this is new. I'm pretty sure there's no stats available on the current mobile version, and people are asking for it a lot. It looks like they're adding it into this next version or whatnot. I mean, it could be in the mobile version right now. I don't know. I haven't played it. I don't think it is though. So it's showing game stats, number of games, wins, ties, forfeits. Oh, by game size as well. What? Any, 2, 3, 4, and 3 plus. So 3 and 4. Difficulty, easy, medium, hard, online. Huh. Pretty in depth. I like that. Expansions, any base, gatherings from RVI. Ending. Victory or not? Scores, high scores, average max, low score, average max, first place score, for second, third. Histogram. Neat, neat. Love stats, so be cool to see that once it. I mean, I guess it's already tracking them, so we'll see right off the bat maybe. And settings, there's some music. No idea if it's loud or not. It's probably fine where it is. Sound effects. I'm in full screen. You can make it a windowed screen or a windowed window. Animation speed normal, fast, instant. Try normal for now. Graphics high. Help translate. Beta. It's only German and English, I guess. Cool. One thing I noticed is there's no like exit button on the main screen, which is kind of weird. But maybe that's just exclusive to the Steam version, where in mobile it would be more intuitive, but here it doesn't really make sense to not have an exit button. Like pressing escape doesn't do anything either. I'm making a list of feedback basically that I'll give them once I've played the whole thing. So settings is done. Store shows the expansions that will be available. Right now, neither of them is accessible on the beta, at least from what I can tell. The base game I think is $7 it's going to be, if it's the same price as the mobile version, and then each expansion is $4. For a Race for the Galaxy fan, it's automatic purchase. Take my money. Rules. So nice, very short. Oh, I guess there's more. How many pages is this? It's 11 pages. I'm not going to go over this since I know the game, but this will be really useful for introducing new players. Nice and concise. I should probably go over it myself just to see. Rough quickly anyway. I'll probably do that in my downtime, find any mistakes I might notice. And that's the rules and the credits. Stuff. So I guess we'll start our first game. So the expansions are not clickable at the moment, but yeah, already tried buying, couldn't. And you can add the promo homeworlds or not. I don't know if it's on or not here. I guess it's, now it's on. Could be a little bit more obvious. Maybe a bit of feedback there. One thing I don't like is that when I alt-tab, it turns off the music also. Although I probably won't be using the music shortly. But it's kind of a weird thing when you... Like if you're streaming it, for example, it's just... There's no way for me to control whether it shuts off like that. It's not ideal. So the New Worlds promo highlight is not super obvious. I think I'll just probably use them all the time. I've played tons of base game, just keep it fresher by having the New Worlds in there, and it'll test them as well. It's going to be way less tested than the normal base game cards, because people have played hundreds of thousands of AI games without them on the old AI version. And so, so we can add multiple player. I didn't know how this worked when I skimmed through this earlier. It looked like I could only play 2 players for now, but you can add players easily here. And then you can play the regular 2-player or 2-player experience. So I think I'm just going to play 3-player right off the bat in that case. And for giggles, we'll just play 2 easy AIs just one time. In the long run, I'm going to be playing only hard AI because that's the one I'm used to, and I mean that's for an experienced player, that's what you'll want to play. But just to try out this, while I'm trying it out, I'll try easy for fun. And then there's a tutorial here. Yeah, that's another piece of feedback I want to put that I already did actually. For the tutorial, like tutorial button should be on the left basically because you're used to pressing OK on the right for everything, so start should be on the right, I feel like. In any case, tutorial, I won't really need to do this, but I'm curious to look at it because it's new. First, the 3 mini games teaching Race for the Galaxy. Your goal, to build a space empire with the most victory points. To build your empire, we're playing cards from your hand. Your empire begins with 1 world and 4 cards in hand. So this will be super useful for new players. Like, one thing this game is notorious for is the complexity of learning the game. Once you know the game and the symbols and stuff, it's super intuitive, but at the very beginning it can be a bit daunting. So a tutorial like this is going to be really useful. Each round players simultaneously choose actions. Player choosing an action gains a bonus, but all players get to do it. Choose the develop action by clicking the diamond button, then click OK. So yeah, even this is like pretty daunting for a new player. Like even the tutorial is not... Like imagine without a tutorial basically. Even with a tutorial it's still a little bit much, I feel like. They could have maybe grayed out some stuff that's not as relevant, like your hand cards and stuff, and just emphasize more. But it's good enough, I'm sure. So let's say I was a new player. Each round players simultaneously choose actions. The player choosing an action gains a bonus. Choose the develop action by clicking the diamond button and click OK. So basically click on this and then click OK. Your opponent chose settle. I know that means this. Develop and settle in that order will occur this round, the other phases won't. So phase 1, phase 4, etc. won't. Add the development mining robots, a diamond card to your empire by dragging it to the center. So I have the mining robots card in my hand, so I can play it because it's a diamond card. Drag it to my tableau. Pay for it by discarding cards equal to its cost of 2. Since you chose develop, you get its bonus of -1 cost. Which is not really shown anywhere, but I wonder if you can back up. I guess probably not. It's shown on the action normally. So I only pay 1, so it's telling me to dump this one. Let's see what happens if I dump a different one. Won't let me. So that's discarded as payment for this. Now it's in play. Drag out or select the center. Okay, yeah. Settle now occurs because your opponent chose it, so the circle phase. You could pass settling no world or settle asteroid belt. So this is my hand here. Drag it to the center to play it. It costs 2. Its cost is 2, so normally you need to discard 2 cards and would not be able to afford it because you have 1 in hand. But we have -1 to cost for browns here. This is a brown world. So it only costs 1 card. So discard that and click OK. Opponent shows settle, gets its bonus, draws a card. So I noticed the opponent's tableaus are kind of abstracted into small symbols, which is definitely cool for experienced players. Presumably you can like zoom in on it. See your opponent's empire, click the summary, click again to restore the summary. So yeah, see, he has a 1 circle, a 1 diamond, and a 1 circle blue, which is shown like that. So for experienced players, they'll kind of have an idea of what those cards are. For a new player, you'll just be paying attention to your stuff anyways. First round is over. For the second round, let's choose the consume trade action. Click trade. So yeah, so these are the actions that you can choose from. So here it shows, well, it doesn't show the bonus actually, but so I'll choose trade like it's asking me to do. Click OK. Your opponent chose explore, which is the first phase. Develop and settle won't happen this round. So the phases that happened last round were not chosen, so they're not going to happen. Explore phase. In the explore phase, you draw 2 cards, keep 1. Hi. Cool. Good to see you. Thanks. Take a close look at these cards. Double click or right click a spaceport to inspect it. Click anywhere to return. This is just highlighting the card. There's a trade power that boosts rare worlds like our asteroid belts. Let's keep it and discard lost species. Sure. Drag it to the center, click OK. Your opponent shows the explore bonus, draw +1, keep +1. You also have farming world. One thing I'm noticing with the tutorial, at least for an experienced player, which is kind of irrelevant I guess, is that when I click anywhere I lose what I was looking at here. I'm tempted to click elsewhere, but it's fine. I should just read everything. You chose to trade, which is a bonus for the consume phase. You may sell 1 good for a number of cards in hand based on the kind of good. So in this case you would sell the brown one. You can double click or right click on the 4 to see the value of it. Probably down here I guess. To see how much each good is worth, you can double click or right click on the 4. Thanks for the follows. Or at least 1 follow, I think. Carl DeV, thanks for the follow. I vaguely recognize that name from BGG and elsewhere. Grinding Gear Games, I believe. Welcome to the stream. So, yeah, I guess. So let me just go through this actually. Precisely. So to see how much each good is worth, you can double click or right click on the 4 consume phase icon to inspect it. So I'm not sure where it's telling me to do this. So double click or right click. Here we go. Okay. So on the phase itself, it tells you the value of the different colors, which is good. Brown sells for 3. Drag your good off its world to trade it. Boom. Draw 3 cards. Keep in mind you only get the trade bonus if you select the consume trade action. Anywhere to continue. Thank you for the follow, Temple Gates. I don't know why it's echoing. Let me just check something with my setup real quick. I'm doing it once, but in any case. Notice that each card has a number in a hex next to its cost, so that's the points. So many victory points is worth at the end of the game. Your total VPs appear in the blue hex, the right of your avatar icon, which is here. Click anywhere to continue. You should now know enough to finish up the minigame. Continue exploring, selling, developing, and trading until you or your opponent has 5 cards in it. But one thing I actually noticed in the Steam profile and now here is the order is swapped for develop and settle. I don't know if that's intended. I suspect it is, but it's weird coming from an experienced player's perspective that you're listing them out not in the order that they exist at all times. So explore, develop, settle, trade is the normal order. But I saw that in the Steam description as well. I found that odd. But if it's intended because of the way English works and stuff, then it's fine. Trading to opponent has 5 cards in their empire. So it's a mini game we're playing basically. Player with most VPs wins. Tie goes to the player with the most cards plus goods. If still tied, both win. So choosing action to start the next round. So in this case, we would, I guess, I don't even know what my opponent's tableau is. I kind of saw it earlier. Settle's probably fine. What's the scores? So it's 3-3 right now. Confirm the action, settle that. Oops. So my intuition was, because I play so much AI, is to click on the card and then click OK, but actually that would just pass. So I have to drag the card, which is fine. It's just something I'll have to get used to probably. I don't know what this means. Undo maybe? Nice. Pay 2 cards, so in this case probably. So again, I'm used to the AI. Everything's just different. So like escape is bringing up menus instead of canceling what I'm doing. I'll get used to that though. So discard the 2. click OK. Choose action. It's not super clear actually. Like, let's say for a new player, like even as an experienced player, I was looking around like, what's the game state right now? What is it waiting for? It's actually not super emphasized that this is where the player needs to be looking, I feel like. So choose action. In this case, you would trade. Or no, there's no good. What's this guy's tableau? Yes, produce. There's no produce in the mini tutorial though. Interesting. So I could settle or naked trade, I guess. What's AI likely to do here? Is 5 cards in hand. I guess we could naked trade. It does settle. I'm used to 2-player advance where you get 2 actions too, so I'm already clicking on my good to trade it. Oh wait, I did choose trade. Yeah, I'm slow. Click on a good to trade. Drag a good to trade. Game complete. Sound effects, yeah. Totally. Let me know if the sound effects are too loud. I actually feel like they might be a little bit loud. Just updated the dev settle order on Steam page. That had been copied from the physical box. Interesting. So yeah, then I guess he might have intended it in the first place. So, looks like it was an exact tie on cards and tie breaks. What's up, Guild? We'll update the word order on the tutorial on the next tutorial class. Cool. Still volume sign. Good. Next mission now. So there's another mission. Continue on to the next mission of introduce military powers. That's cool. Training exercise number 2. In this minigame, you'll expand your empire into hostile territory. Will you conquer worlds with military or find a diplomatic solution with contact specialist? We'll start this game with a military world. It's not actually a military world, but I guess it's... Wouldn't it be red if it was military? Technically, it's a civilian world that gives you military, at least by what I'm seeing here. I feel like most likely this should be just a red circle. Military base green. I mean, for tutorial purposes, it's probably fine. But I don't know. You want to be consistent, right? Like if a new player sees this as being a military world, it might not make sense consistency-wise. This time you're dealt 6 cards. You'll choose 4 for your starting hand and discard the other 2. So this is like a standard opening hand thing. We're focusing on a military strategy, so discard Empath 1, Deserted Alien Outpost. Sure. Right. Done. Click OK. Choose a settle action to start the round. Opponent shows explorers, so we get a few more cards to choose from. Discard a card. So in this case, we're going military, but doesn't matter too much. Fuel cache has a red outline and can't be settled by discarding cards. Instead, it must be conquered using military. Yeah. To conquer it, your total military must equal or exceed the world's defense, which is 1, which we have. Oops, that's not what I want to do. You start with military base green, grants you 1 military. Total military is on the right of your avatar. Okay. Since you have enough military, drag grab fuel cache to play it. In the next round, let's develop the contact specialist we just received. Weird that it wants me to develop contact specialist, which is not really a card you would want to play as military, but I guess it's going to give me the choice to do it if I want to or not. Choose the diamond action. Okay. Yeah, see earlier when I was saying where that it wasn't clear that it was asking me to choose my action, all I really would need maybe is the orange like this has. That's already a lot more emphasis than the white that it was. You know, saying choose action in white. Contact special gives you the ability to settle military worlds by paying for them rather than military. Right, so this is basically to explain contact specialist to you, which is probably the most complicated card in the base game, so it's a good thing that it's brought up. I'm sure it's Tom Lehman that wanted that in there, I'd imagine. So, develop contact specialists, sure. Normally to settle this, we would need 2 military, but with contact specialists we can pay for it instead, so it converts red worlds into black worlds temporarily. So we'll settle it. Activate it to settle the world by paying 1 less than the world's defense. Select the settlement power to settle it. Okay, so click on that and then discard 1. Next we'll develop Space Marines to increase our military. Choose develop for the next round. Sure. Discard a card from Explorer. Now we can develop Space Marines. We'll fix the inaccurate military text on the tutorial starting world there. Right on that, cool. Yeah, I wish I'd been able to play the mobile version before, because I feel like I would have found all that already a long time ago. I'm surprised they weren't noticed by other people. So now we can develop Space Marines. We're paying 1. We can discard from here. It's kind of cool. We're low on cards, so let's explore for more. Choose +5 for the next round, if you insist. Sport side bonus gives you 5 more cards. Basically, they're covering all the different phases, so that's good. So that had not come up yet. This 5 bonus deals you 5 more cards than the 2 you would normally draw. You get 7 to choose from, but still keep only 1. Okay, so I had this 1 card in hand, and it's adding these 7 on the right, and it's wanting me to discard these 6, I guess. You want a military world, so keep avian uplift rest. Discard the rest. It'd be nice if you could like right-click on these cards to just discard them. I guess you kind of can. I guess it's fine. I'll find my preference. Discard all cards with avian uplift race. Okay. Your opponent chose settle, so we'll be able to conquer avian uplift race with our 2 military. We're just about out of cards again. So this time let's trade. One of our goods gets more. Yep. Your red brown would only sell for 3, so it's better to trade the genes. We can right click on here to see the values. Should now know enough to finish out the minigame. Continue to build your empire until you or your opponent has 8 cards in your empire. Player with the most VPs wins. Same tiebreaker applies. Cards and goods if still tied both win. So next we would choose trade. Opponent explored. Discard one of the 2 cards. Lots of worlds, so just check that. Confirm. Trade our goods. And it's weird that it didn't give me confirmation there. I guess I'll see how the interface works, but so for trading it's not giving you confirmation, but for payments it is kind of thing. So choose action. We have some big yellow worlds. We're trying to hit 8 cards, so I guess we just settle this and we'll probably win here. If we can afford it. Yeah, we can't use it. So, what did he do? Looks like he double VP'd. What is his tableau? Okay. Pay 3. Confirm. Oh, he traded, I guess. It looked like he double VP there, I don't know. By the symbology. But clearly he must have traded, because he drew a bunch of cards. Choose action. Settle again. And he does dev, so we can afford to play this, so we'll play it. Pay 1. Confirm. Play that. How do you feel about hiding keywords in the tutorial text and making them different colors? You're borderline illiterate and it would help you a lot. Keywords, you mean like these? Like there's not a lot of words in the game, so what words, for example, you mean like in the names of the cards? Because in the names of the cards, the keywords are highlighted. They're like yellow is alien, and that's it. Rebel is highlighted as well. In the tutorial pop-up, I see. Yeah, that's not bad. There is a lot of text in the tutorial, so yeah, highlighting certain ones could emphasize more and make it more easier to get through. I kind of agree on that. So pay. Let's see if we manage to win this time. Oh yeah, 17 to 5. Due to the next mission dealing about producing and consuming goods. So he's saying like in stuff like this where it's all just blocks of white text, so you could emphasize certain words, like the keywords for the whatever this is. So like in this case, expand your empire further by developing, selling worlds, or by producing goods to keep its populace happy. So you could highlight produce, maybe, or develop settle as well. So click anywhere to continue. To begin, select your start world from one of two options. Let's start with Ursla's Colony, which has a consume power. So like consume would be a new thing here, right, or an important thing. Allowing you to turn its goods into victory points, so this too maybe. You're already capitalizing it, but maybe highlight it is what you're saying. So place Ursla's Colony. You will again choose 4 cards for your initial hand and discard 2. This time we're focusing on a produce consume strategy, so discard Avian Uplift Race and Space Marines. I definitely like the tutorial. Like if we had this back in the day when we were teaching people, it would have been so much easier. Instead of like a 15-minute droning speech of how to play the game. If it has to highlight phase keywords there, such as that. Okay, hopefully the world's not cool. Let's settle Empath World to get a good. Choose the settle action, right. Oh, so now we have produce available. Press OK. Place that, pay 1. Your opponent shows... I already like how fluid everything is compared to playing the normal Keldon AI. This is going to be a pleasure to play, I'm pretty sure, in comparison. So your opponent shows consume, so you can consume your good for victory points. Actually, it's not you can, you have to. But I don't know if you necessarily need to clarify that there. You should probably actually say, so you must consume your good for victory points. Because it's not optional. That's kind of an important distinction. And it's a big thing when you're newer to the game, losing your goods to consume powers like this. It can be pretty bad, and if you are misled kind of by this kind of wording, then it might sting a little bit. So you must consume your good for victory points. Ursla's Colony has a power that lets you exchange any good for 1 VP. Click Ursla's Colony to select this consume power. Drag the good off of it to consume it. Since your opponent chose a double VP bonus, they receive double victory points when consuming this round. The next round, let's choose produce to restore some of your goods. So I don't want to choose produce, so I will. In the produce phase, each production, solid colored circle, so like this, world receives 1 good. You could highlight this in some, I mean, you've been working on this for a while, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty streamlined already, but one thing that's really unclear to new players is the difference between the solid colored and the windfalls, that's the halos. So like, if there was some way to make that even more clear here, that'd be good, instead of just a bracket solid colored circle. I don't know. Like just highlight this card, I don't know. I guess that doesn't really make sense because you're talking about both of them in this message, but just something that I notice. Since you chose produce, your bonus to get an additional bit on 1 windfall world, in this case Empath World. Yeah. Basically the difference between production and windfall worlds is a super important one, and I'm not sure if this is enough of a clarification. In the produce phase, each production solid colored circle world receives 1 good. Since you chose produce, your bonus to get an additional good on 1 windfall world, in this case Empath World. Like you could split this tutorial into a production one and a windfall one. It's one idea. Because that's one of the huge things. So there's like military versus civilian, windfall versus production, and the 4 colors of goods. That's the 3 things that make settling and production complicated. And you're, yeah, one of them is just here. You can add some of the iconography on the text here. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's all you would need to do, really, is put the 2 blue circle here and 1 green windfall here. Like, that's already a lot better, yeah. Tutorial was written what, before we debaked all the cards and generated the elements. Okay. Right. Lurker exposed. Click anywhere to continue. Not be worthwhile to trade your genes good for cards, like consume trade. I'm pretty sure earlier. See here, so maybe this is intended, but it's, at least until I've played the interface more, to me this means double VP when you see this. But I guess it's just the generic highlighting of the phase, the same way this is the generic highlighting of phase 1. But what comes to mind is that we can't tell at a glance what action the opponent chose. I guess you can see it here. So it's maybe a moot point. some of the stuff I'm saying is, this is my first playthrough of this, so some of the stuff I'm saying is not going to be really meaningful. We got a 6 cost development. We don't have enough cards to develop it yet, but it could be worth a lot of victory points later. What's up, Wilkins? Keep Merchant Guild and discard the other card. Discard the highlighted card, okay. In consume phase, trade happens before any other goods are consumed. Yeah, and you can now trade your genes good for 4 cards. If you have a good that can be consumed, you must use your powers to consume it. Yeah, I see here it's using the right wording. You must use your powers to consume it. So you still have 1 good, so let's use Ursul's Colony. Its power to consume its good. Click it, then drag its good. Yo yo. You have enough cards to develop Merchant Guild. Choose develop. Paying 5, keeping 2. You're gonna finish your ice cream before you were interrupted. Brutal, rough life. This development is worth a variable number of victory points, 2 for each production world. I like how vivid this is, although it still bleeds a little bit into the background. There's a VP summary in the upper right hand corner of the card. Oh nice. Which is displayed in more detail when inspecting the card. Cool. Click anywhere to continue. Your opponent selected produce, so you only produce on your production world Ursul's Colony this time. You should now know enough to finish out the game. The game ends when you or your opponent has 12 cards in their empire, or the people reaches 0. So one thing that could be clarified from the outset is that the 5 tableau and the 8 tableau is not how the game normally works. Because like obviously I know how this works and everything, so I could almost not even notice that happened, but the new player is seeing the 5 and then the 8 and then the 12. It's just going to feel weird, I feel like. It's just a suspicion now. To a brand new player. I don't know. The game ends when you or your opponent has 12 plus cards in their empire, or the VP pool reaches 0, in which case all players get their own VPs. Or to clarify here that this is actually how the game works, right, at this moment. So, not just to finish this game, but actually you're ready. And this is the actual rules of the game, as opposed to maybe 16 card tableau in the next one or whatever. Player with the most VPs wins. Again, same tiebreaker applies. Cards plus goods, still tie plus wins. Choose any action to start the next round. So one thing I've noticed with this tutorial is, I guess it doesn't really matter for a tutorial, but when we're at the point here where it's letting me continue out the game, this window is blocked here, and I can't like. I guess I can click on my opponent's tableau, but it's like hidden behind shit and stuff. So like, it's only really relevant for somebody who knows the game, so it's not super relevant. In this case, what would we even do? Opponent has 5 cards. Dev doesn't do anything, unless he produces, but he probably won't. X2, do Settle Explore. This +1's fine. Produce is probably the best, actually. So he settled. Okay, 2. Finding it's easy AI. So it's really letting us play the whole game out in this one, basically. Choose action. Produces pretty good. This feels, I mean, again, I'm new to this interface, so maybe it's fine, but this feels backwards to me, where it's like making it smaller when you select it. Just a thought. I'm sure you have noticed that, and it's intended. And where you see here, it's like the one that's selected is out. Maybe it's for space reasons or whatever. I'm not a UI expert, so take some of the things everything I say with a grain of salt on that subject. So, settle, we place a world, I guess. if we should actually settle here. Yeah, it's a tempo. Pay 2. Trade. Again, here it's like weird to me. Settled again. Definitely play this. I'm also used to the Board Game Arena interface, so like this is like a mix of all the interfaces. Choose a consume power. So that, and then drag this anywhere, I guess, and it works. And we can trade, I guess. I don't know if this is an option in settings. I don't think it is, but it'd be nice to have a turbo mode of the game where you don't have to confirm all the time. So like there, I know what action I want. I click on it. I want it to be done. I have to click OK every time. Be nice to have a turbo version, basically, where it's assumed that you know what you're doing. Develop, you may place development, and I traded, so probably just play this. Pay 1. Like there, it's asking me to confirm, right? Don't really need that once you know the game in depth. Might roll out of power player mode, right? Yeah, I mean, there's infinite things you can add, right? So it's like you don't need more things for now. Choose action. Subtle seems pretty good. Devs. I guess play that. A4. Doesn't matter too much. Either way, we're probably going to be winning this. Press OK to confirm payment. Produce with our monster. Thank you for the follow, Java1970. So he settles, which is what I was hoping for. Pay 2. Drawing 3. Probably never getting this out. Doesn't have a bad engine himself, but it's not going to be close. That follow sound, yeah. It is echoing for you guys, right, on your end? Vim like keyboard controls. What? So we produce, now we will double VP, because we have a lot of goods. And I guess that's what this game is trying to teach us, is producing and consuming. Although it kind of let us have free reign earlier than I would have expected for that. Unless I'm just like losing my mind and that was the last tutorial. I'm like in play mode more than tutorial mode. It's like, oh yeah. I don't know why. I'm sorting out that those notifications anyways at the moment. I've got a bunch of sounds set up that I want to swap around. So choose a consume power now. So click on that, choose 2 goods. So it's not intuitive to me that I can't just like click on the 2 goods and that's it, done. I have to like drag them. Maybe that's because of Board Game Arena though. Confirm goods. Choose consume power. Drag the goods. Confirm. No confirm this time. Maybe because it's not 2 goods. Consume power. Good. Or like if I could just drag a good to a consume power, but I don't know if that's what you want. Just consume power. Consume. Produce again. He settles again. Probably just play the bigger one. Paying 1. A Windfall. But yeah, it's arguably even better with an Echo. Javard probably thinks it's better. Choose action, double AP. And he settles again. Play the best one. Confirm payment. Consume power. Confirm. We did it! Massacred. Almost tripled. So, I guess the tutorial button's gone? That's what was there? I don't even remember what was there. I guess it must be that. No, I don't know. No tutorials here. There was something, there was some third button here. I'm losing my mind. Can't remember what it was though. Alright. So that's the tutorial. There's a log. Okay, so during the game there's a log. I don't know what else is clickable here when you're playing. We'll go to an actual game and I'll see. Oh yeah, so here, resume game is what it was, I see. Button is a resume button if you had a game going. Right. Okay, so let's try our first game, shall we? Although I want to see actually before that if that tracked any stats, wherever that was. I don't remember where the stats button was. It's clearly not here. Oh, here it was, up here. So maybe stats could be more front and center. Yeah. Instead of hidden here, but maybe that's what you want. So it did not track anything there. So tutorial games do not count. Right. Alright, so let's try an actual game now. So easy, just for fun. Probably going to only ever play one game against easy because it's going to be an absolute joke, but I do want to try it. Start. So, homeworld choice. So we're getting 2 of the new ones, the promo worlds. And interesting that it doesn't show the homeworld numbers on here. I guess it's unnecessary to see them. It's kind of cool. Minimizing the number of symbols and stuff shown. I like that actually. So, actual game now. Pool is right. Deck. I'm actually going to do the math on the deck just for fun. So there's 114 cards in the base game, plus there's 6 promo worlds, so it should be 120 minus 18, so it should be 102 total. Unless I'm doing something wrong here. 6 times 3 is 18, 120, so it should be 102 in the deck. Plus the 3 others, the discard, so it should be 199. It should be 99. Oh, I guess it's not counting the home worlds, so that's right then. 96 looks good. Now what will we play here? Draw and consume's nice. Juice on Windfall. ELC. I don't like that you can't immediately start discarding from your hand as well, but I guess you're trying to streamline it. So you have to figure out your homeworld first. I mean, this is really strong. So is this, but drawing unsettle is pretty nice. But yeah, it doesn't feel right to me as an experienced player to not be able to just choose my discards from hand first, because the way that I think about decisions and stuff, it feels weird that I guess I can go backwards here, but it's, yeah, I guess since you can undo, it's not the end of the world. So drag 2 cards to discard. In this case, this is probably never seen play, although it's not terrible. It's just opening hand. I don't like 6 devs. Although in the base game it might be worth keeping. I don't want to just throw the game by doing that. So dump that and overlay this. This is kind of redundant. Close enough. I mean, it's 2 easy AIs. I don't imagine our win rate's going to be very far below 100%. But we'll see. So Opening here now. It's weird how the game feels different just because the interface is different. I feel like I'm playing a different game, but it's still a race. It's weird. So dev doesn't do anything. Produce is pointless. Settle is great for us, so we basically just want to be settling. Yeah. I mean, explore is also good. What even is our opponent's homeworlds actually? Oh, it's a bit scary. So for people who haven't seen this, get +2 to trade. But yeah, we should probably just be spamming settle as much as we can. I mean, we have okay settles, so why not? So, opponents both explore, it looks like, maybe? Oh, here we go. So, settle, explore. So, discard 1 from our explorer. It's going to be that. Confirm. Settle. Probably that. Pain 2. Draw 2. Guess we would dev now. Just delete just settle if it happens. It does. Select the settlement power. What does wait for? Also, I can see what they settled or whatever. I vaguely recall reading about that. So, settle or select the settlement power. Sure, press OK to confirm. Choose action. Their hand sizes are 1 and 0, so definitely gonna settle. This guy's probably gonna produce, yeah. Wow, he settled with 0 cards in hand. Yeah. It's not unheard of from AIs, let alone easy AI. Like even hard AIs will settle in spots like this sometimes because they just can't win anymore. And all their plays are very closely bad. They're all terrible. So settle, we play this. Pay 1. Probably just... what are we doing now? We produce 3 goods. We have 2 consume power, so I guess we just keep the consume power. It's asking me to click on that first. Earn payment. Choose action. Trade or X2. Could dev also, or produce even. Hand sizes are 0 and 1 once again. Probably just dev, to be honest. Although he might dev randomly. But if he produces, dev is really good. He explores and he trades. Discard 1. Explore. Drag 1 card to... Okay. I'm so used to the other AI. It feels like... This is not... It's pretty subtle that this is my explorers here on the right. So we would discard, I guess, this. And then confirm. So develop. So we traded. Guess it doesn't make a difference. So we should probably start with that one. Consume powers. So no matter what we do here, we could keep a brown good actually. So in this case, I might actually just do that. And then trade. We can each dev or settle, or both even, or not both now. So settle happens, great, well, good enough. Just by never passing, we'll probably win, I'd imagine. Confirm. So I need to get used to this clicking. So double clicking on a good pops up the card. Double clicking on the card pops up the card. Right clicking on the card pops up the card. Right clicking on the good pops up the card. Okay, so it all just pops up the card. And like right clicking on this is that. Right clicking on this shows you the bonus. This feels a little... The font and stuff, it's just kind of, I don't know, very minimalistic. It's like really big. I don't know, it just looks weird to me. Okay, right clicking on the other, so it keeps showing you all the bonuses, so that's kind of cool. Right clicking on player does nothing, on hand does nothing, on chips does nothing, on score does nothing. So it's not actually, I feel like it could be something here explaining what these things are. Like, a new player looking at this, sure, you mentioned it once in the tutorial that it's the points, but I don't know how clear that really is. I guess it's pretty clear, there's not too much. But I don't know yet what else is going to be displayed here in more complicated board states. Like the pool here. Basically, just intuitively to me, hovering over these things, I would expect something to pop up and say, okay, this is the VP pool of chips. This is the deck. But maybe this is how mobile apps work. I don't play a lot of mobile apps, so in fact I don't play any mobile apps really. Yeah, let's see the log over here. Easy AI 2. Round 5. So this is showing what we played, I guess. Clicking on it doesn't do anything. I don't know what this means. Maybe the action that was chosen. $33. And there's no way to go. Oh, there is. Here we go. Round 4. The alignment seems weird. These are aligned properly, kind of, but I'm not really. What is this? Huh, uses contact specialist. Kind of a weird symbol for it. This isn't produce, I produced 2 blue and 1 brown, I guess. I like how it selects the actions chosen, it's kind of cool actually. So I chose develop, they chose settle, he played this. It doesn't tell you what the card is, but so that's like if you're gonna have a log, why is it so minimal? That's my question, I guess. So it shows the exact bonuses you're getting in Explorer. Not bad, not bad. Settings, log, rules. Let's test the zoom. Everything looks normal. Choose consume power. Yeah, I guess at this point I can start changing some settings here. I don't need to see normal animation speed. We'll try fast now. There's also instant, which will be presumably what I'll eventually do. Actually, I want to see what normal graphics looks like too, just for fun. I don't really see a difference. Let's try that. Pay more attention. So like GFED. It does look a little bit uglier than I would imagine. Looks practically the same. What about in big? Oh, I like that it shows you the actual value of it right now. Very nice, very nice. But yeah, so let's look at GFED in big and see if we can tell a difference in like fonts and stuff. The 6 here doesn't look aligned in the middle, in the center. Nor does the numbers here. Maybe that's intended, but the alignments all look off to me. Probably intended, moved over so that it doesn't overlap as close to this, I guess. Again, I'm not a UI expert, so whatever. So yeah, GFED in big, and then we'll change to low quality. Again, not really seeing difference. Maybe you have to restart the game or something for it to have an effect, because I don't see any difference. And if you do have to restart it for it to have an effect, it'd probably be better if it told you that. So we'll do it on high for now. Anything else? Music, sound effects, animation, speed, graphics, language, full screen. Okay. Next, choosing action. We mentioned this, we were talking about this earlier, where this is not super emphasized. Instead of maybe making it a different color, if it just had the highlight, you know, like the green halo stuff that you do around it, that's probably better. To emphasize where does my attention need to be directed at right now. it's right here to choose the action. So like if it's highlighted in green or orange, whatever makes sense with your interface. So we're choosing an action. What is our tableau here? For producing goods, hands are for induce. I mean, they're likely to settle this guy anyway, so produce seems fine. Oh, this guy likes produce too. In fact, this guy's probably going to produce, so I probably don't even need to produce, to be honest. So I should probably just settle. But he develops. I wonder about the timing there. It didn't give me any prompts or anything, so hopefully in multiplayer it does give you a prompt, even if you can't play something, so that people can't know that you don't have a develop in your hand, because that's important strategically. That came up with Magic the Gathering 2 earlier on when they made the online version. So there's no produce. No, we could use consume power, so I actually think we're going to play this one first. To get an 8-point engine. Paying 1. Draw 2. Settle or produce. Again, they're pretty likely to settle, so I should probably just produce. Although I feel like he might produce, but... Discard 1, settle, explore, confirm. I'm constantly clicking on things ahead, but it's asking me to confirm and stuff. So if I don't click wait, it'll never tell me, I guess, what they're going to do. So if I click wait, it shows me. Pay 3 cards to settle Prosperous World, so... You don't know how to feel about Magic Digital Next? Magic Digital Next? Is that a thing? Paying 3, drawing 2, so we'll be at 3 cards. GFET is not that good here. Confirm. Playing with the interface a little bit. So if you click slowly, it doesn't do anything. If you right click, it does something. If you double click, it does. I don't know why it's letting me click. I guess it's the way your interface is made, but I guess that's the case here too, even on my tableau. I can play with my stuff, make sounds, which is fine. Hearthstone showed that being able to mess around with anything is a good thing. People like to click on things. Making a new client or something, really? Okay. And releasing that MMO. Yeah, I vaguely heard about something like that. There's so many different things now that, like, to me, the only thing that exists for Magic is Magic Online. Like, that's the actual game. All the rest is just, like, fluff to make more money, I guess, out of the game. But if you want to play actual Magic the Gathering, that's what you play in. To me, anyways. And like in Magic MMO, I think is what I heard about recently. That's interesting because they have a lot of lore and stuff, right? So decent IP to make an MMO out of. So now we would X2 presumably. So we have an 8-point engine, maybe 16-point engine if NAI produces here. So choose a consume power, same old thing. Drag. I'm not super happy with the way the clicking and consume works. I mean, I'm sure I'll get used to it, but it's just... I guess it's coming from the other versions of Race, it feels strange. But clearly, not a lot of people agree with me, because it probably wouldn't work the way it does right now. People would have complained about it. So, consume power, drag. Consume power, drag. What's this? Gamble power. How do I undo the gamble power? So why is it forcing me to do the gamble first? I guess I don't have a choice. Choose a consume power. I guess it's just the way the interface works. You had to do it this way kind of thing, or wanted to. So pick a number, pick 2 to gamble, and we hit. And then consume power. Now it lets me consume. So would you ever want to consume before gambling? Probably not. But I might be not thinking of something. So consume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 powers. I could save a brown good again if I want to, but probably don't want to. So put that in there. I don't know which one it's selected now, so it's gambling mode, so this is what I want. Click on that, put that in it. Choose action, produce, presumably. Oh, it's got 4 points. It's gonna be tough. Choose consume power, so I can gamble. Hit again. So lucky. Tableau sizes. I mean, this is I playing on easy is a waste of time for an experienced player. Clearly, I don't think I could ever possibly lose. It'd be funny to see play 50 games against easy and see if you could lose one. Explore, drag 1 card to discard. What do we care about here? Not that. Confirm. Settle, place a world. So what's happening? Settle, explore. X2. I'll just play this. A1. Select the settlement power to settle it. I would like if it was like the other AI where if I only have 1 settle power to settle something, just select it. But yeah. Pay 1 card to settle it. Okay. Consume power, so one thing I'm noticing about Gambling World is why is it not letting me click off by clicking elsewhere? I guess that's the way it works for other things too. Like if I select this consume power, the only way to get rid of it is to click the empty. Sure, okay. It's consistent. So that's the gamble power. Wow, 3 for 3, that's insane. Now, I mean, against good AIs we would develop, but I don't know if they're actually going to consume here. Oh, they do. Oh yeah, so I remember reading that their action selection is good, but their plays are bad. Right. So I guess I could have been taking that into account. So we play Trade League, because why not? Paying 5. I'm trading up, so keeping this. I'm used to the AI where you can right click to unselect or select everything else. So here I'm actually forced to select every single one, which is actually slower. It's surprising that a mobile version is slower than the software version, but I'm sure it's intended, or that they know about it. Consume power. Oh yeah, self-gamble. See, it's interesting in that I'm an experienced player and I'm sitting here looking at wondering what's going on. Why is it waiting for me? Maybe this green highlight is not as vivid as you think. I feel like people were saying that too early on and it was actually improved. It still might be a little bit too subtle. I don't know. Maybe I'm blind. Or maybe it's because I'm not used to looking for this kind of highlighting. So I guess with more experience it will probably become super clear. There's more play. So choose consume power, so gamble. Finally miss. I wonder if, let's say I hadn't noticed what card was gambled there, would there be any way for me to find out what it was? I suspect the answer is no. 12. Because that's the kind of thing that an experienced player will definitely want to be able to find out. So there's no way. So choose action. Scores are 32, 18, 6. doesn't really matter what we do. The hand sizes are large, so they're going to build, and the game's going to end. And dev settle. It doesn't matter. Just pick one. Wow, they both produce. I guess it's not surprising. Again, when they're way behind, they start doing strange things. So pay 6. I guess it's kind of satisfying to have to click and discard 6 cards, but when you play lots of games, it's probably going to get annoying eventually. Choose a produce power. It's asking me about this. Choose a windfall, drag to discard. We did it. Rematching. So I actually log my scores normally, so I should probably do that as I usually do. So in this case, it was a 3-player AI game. So I think the music is off on your end, right? That's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you were there to see it. Temple gates. But yeah, it would be nice if you could have the music keep playing when you're alt tabbed. So in this case, it was a AI game, 3-player game win. So we record that like that, and then my spreadsheet as well. I'm noticing that the software is a little bit taxing on my system. I can tell. I don't know how it's actually looking on stream and stuff. Hopefully I'm not like lagging horribly. I guess people would have complained by now, but I don't know how smoothly it's running and stuff. I'll have to check the stream after as well. So like, how much is this taking? It's taking up 10% of my CPU, which is considerable. So we'll have to see if I need to adjust my settings or not, depending on how good it looks and stuff. So score there, 37, 7, 18. There's easy AI 1 and 2. I wonder if you can change their names. Probably not, I suspect. And I usually track home rolls, but I don't know if there's an easy way to check that when I'm at the screen. If I close this, there we go. So home rolls were TC3 and SNR. If the stats are good enough on here, I might just not need to track anything. I'm a big stats buff, so I always track my games, but there's way more stats on here than I track, so that looks kind of good to me. So let's see. Check the menu. So score. So if we go here now. Games completed 1 wins 1. So I wonder if it differentiates difficulty. Looks like it does. So easy, medium, hard. Cool. Expansions, base. Scores. 3-player. Max, low. This is my max low. Max first place of anyone, second place of anyone, third place of anyone. Average. So like average score or something. Cool. Yeah, basically if the stats are like they are here, I won't feel the need to track anything, which is really nice. And I'll probably never play another version of Race after this, I'd imagine, but we'll see. So, that was easy. Let's try medium for fun. Probably just stick to 3-player, keep New Worlds on. Choose Start World. So again, 2 new ones. So there's more than double the home world, so I guess it's kind of normal to get a lot of the promo ones. So that's going to make base game a lot more interesting. Just that But that small change is going to make all the difference. So we can place this into Space Marines into this, which is pretty good. And we're 3 military from this. We have brown combo-ish credits, and this is good. Dev, settle this. If they settle round 1, we play this. These cards are not that great. Looks pretty good to me. And we can't get this out if we play this, so we'll just choose this. Discard 2. And dev. So now this is... Oh, let's see what they have. Yeah, we have to dev. We actually get to produce out of them too. Confirm, settle. Trade our goods. Produce again. So we'll trade the brown one. Trade again. He's gonna produce the whole game. What does he have? It's a lot prettier than the other one you play, yeah. Yeah, totally. I really like it. Its look and everything. And it's got sound as well, which is nice for people like that and stuff like that. It's very nice. It's like, you look at the Board Game Arena website version, and then you look at the AI version that I usually play, and then you look at this, and it's like, how am I going to go and play the other ones after this? It's like, there's just no way. So, and this is just against AIs, right? So multiplayer, once that's working, would be really nice. Yeah, it's a beta version. Beta testing. Not a demo. So it's like the full version, as far as I can tell. The only thing is that they're waiting on the multiplayer to come in. Like, they put a new version in that has to get approved or whatever. So multiplayer normally would be working, but it's just not today. So, where are we? We're trading now. Like, the mobile version's already out. You can play it on your phone and stuff like that, on your iPad and things like that. Multiplayer is available there. I just can't play that because I don't have a device that actually is recent enough. My phone is super old. So we would probably just keep trading, although if that keeps happening, this guy's just racking up points forevermore. We won't overflow if we do it one more time though. So now he devs EX2s. What do we even have in hand here? So now we have ways to get out Rebel Homeworld. So we'll definitely play that, paying 2. Okay. But yeah, it's coming out in a week. Try to trade. No, we'll probably trade again. If we do, and there's a dev though, we go to 3, 6, 8. One thing I noticed is it doesn't show my, oh, it does show my hand size here, so 8, so I don't have to count all the time. So I go to 9 minus 7 is 2. So that's fine. So we'll definitely just trade. Place a world. And yeah, Wilkins, I don't know if you were there, but there's a tutorial and everything as well. So that's really nice. Settle, no dev. So I guess we play this. Probably just play this. Going to 3, 6, 7, 10. Good trade again. Good enough. Trade that. Now do we trade again? Hand sizes are decently large, so I think trading is fine. But no builds happen. Yeah. No doubt. It's good to have a tutorial where people can, you know, work through it at their own pace. Mainly is the thing. So trade that. And discard 3. Because it's all fine and dandy me explaining the game and stuff, but not everybody learns at the same pace. Confirm. This should probably just be deving. I should have done that last round, to be honest. I don't know, actually. I only have one dev I really want to play. I only really have one settle I want to play, too. Probably just explore. Scores 554. This guy's tableau. We can't just sit around. I think I'm just gonna dev trade produce, because yeah, if they just keep trading and producing the whole game, we're not gonna get anywhere. I just have a little hand holding when you first start out, yeah. Especially for this game. This game is daunting at the start. So may place a development. Surely place this. There's no settle. Pay 5. My military is going to be 2, 3, 4. Actually, should probably keep that just in case. Trade, settle. So now that we've done that, what is it? Fast. I'm gonna try instant, I guess. Trade a good. Choose action. Need to progress the game. Dev. If there's a settle, it's good. AI is more likely to settle than dev, so we'll just dev. So he does indeed. So we'll play this. Ping 2. Actually, I'm like wanting to press Control Z, but yeah, Control Z doesn't do anything as expected. So there's no keyboard shortcuts that I can tell. But that might be intended once again, since it's just mobile. You're supposed to be using your mouse and whatnot. So yeah, place this, pay 2. Pay 1 more card to develop. The clicking is weird sometimes, I don't know. Confirm. Like it doesn't always register. Settle, let me place a world. Gotta play the brown one. He passed, so that's good. We drew extra cards. And settle seems fine. Dev's not bad too, actually. But settle's better because we only have 1 dev, I think. Dev is pretty good here. I'm just gonna dev in case he settles. Wow, no consume. It's tempting to pick up this game when it launched on Steam, but it's probably too time consuming. I mean, it's the kind of game that you can play for 5 minutes, so maybe you mean learning will be too time consuming as a new game. Depends on the person. But it's just a card game, right, that you can pick up and play anytime or whatever, and play with friends or whatever. It's just a normal board game, so it's not a large investment. But if you're not going to play it very much, obviously, it's not necessarily worth getting. Discard 2, or I'm like still in the mode of the other game where I wasn't military. Yeah, it looks complicated, yeah. It definitely is a little bit complicated, but once you learn it, it's so good. Once you learn it, you don't play any other card games. That's like, this made me stop playing Magic a long time ago. Okay, it's asking me for Explorer. Trading's actually not bad here. Maybe easier than building a tower. Yeah. Those perfect, what is it? Hexagonal towers we're building. So confirm discards. GFID. Wait, what? That was Explorer, I see. And we call dev. And there is no consume, so I guess we play GFID. Paying 5. We'll go down to 2. 3, 4, and an Explorer, which would be enough to play Trade League. So pay 5. I'll just do this, I think, and then trade. Alright, there's a settle immediately. Scores 33, 16, 14. I mean, I guess we just end the game. There's no possible way to lose, I don't think. 2 cards in hand, 1 card in hand. Just stuff. Consume happens. I guess it's more like, how do I fit in all these games? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Choose consume power. So that, dump that, dump that. Confirm goods. Choose consume power. Yeah, I can clearly tell that a power user mode will be super necessary. Like, people are gonna, or at least I'm gonna complain about it until it happens, kind of thing. Like, all these confirmations, like, this is my first or second game, right, and I'm like already a bit tired of all the confirmations. Choose up to 2 discards, 2 cards to discard. But I suspect there's not that many like crazy race fanatics like me that have played on the mobile version, clamoring for that kind of thing. So choose up to 1 more card to discard. Cannot. Empire complete. So, unsurprisingly we win, but they did a bit better. Not surprisingly, I guess. So, 3-player win. And the scores were 38, 15, 24. What's it called? Just AI, no difficulty. AI1, AI2. And then it's not super intuitive either that you can go back to the game state by clicking X and done does something different. Okay, I saw people talking about that a bit in the forums. So what I want to check here are the home worlds. So AMS. SNR and GS. And then to get out of this, I wonder if clicking exit would actually lose the result of the game. Like, there's resume, exit, score. Feels like there's a lot of ways to get out of the game when there should just be one thing. I don't know. Feels like there's like one extra button. In any case, how I actually want to get out of this is by clicking score and then done. And then let's try hard now. Try hard. So now this is the real version of the game, which is what I will always be playing. So, Trade Emissaries, Earth's Lost Colony, Spice World. Way too good. So definitely play that home world. Keep that. And then what? This is not super relevant. Really expensive. Basically this is all we care about. I mean, GFED doesn't hurt maybe. Mining League theoretically. Definitely should keep Space Marines. I mean, these are just both so bad. Almost no way we play either, but this too. I actually think it might be better to just chuck these. Although keeping another world's probably better. Just in case. So definitely dump that and probably this. And then go from there. Now, what are our opponents playing? So both are playing a new homeworld. So that makes Produce significantly worse. He might actually produce on round 1. I've never played against these homeworlds as hard AIs. Like, these homeworlds didn't exist, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they play them. Like, what does this guy do with this? Does he trade here? I suspect he's gonna settle to play a windfall to leech the trade, kind of thing. So most of the time they're gonna settle with this homeworld, I think. And this one, I feel like most of the time they're gonna produce, but I have no idea. Might actually dev more often because of this, and maybe he'll settle. I don't know. It feels like produce most of the time, and dev some of the time. So with that in mind, what am I actually doing here? So if he should be settling most of the time. So he might not produce, so I should probably produce. Gain an advantage against this guy. Although if he settles a production world, that's pretty bad. So maybe I'm supposed to just explore +1/+1 here. Prepare for the next round. Because I only have one card I really want to play. I don't want to produce, really. I don't really want to settle. Settle's not bad, actually. If he can't settle. And if he does produce, I guess we need to be settling. In case it doesn't happen in round 2. I'm not sure. So dev. That's unexpected. Pass. Settle that ping 2. Oh wow. Well, so at least we're not. Basically, he has to consume to get value out of this. Basically, this seems really strong if you can leech the consume. Like if he had a cheap windfall or whatever. So in this case, instead he has a yellow one, so he really wants to trade it. And this guy just has. This is great. This is whatever. So produce is fairly automatic. What even happened there? So the round's over, but I didn't see what actions were chosen. Check the log. It'd be nice if I feel like if the log showed you the previous round, because usually that's what you would want to see, I feel like. Maybe not though. So now I'm here. So I guess it's showing by home world order or something. So I produced, AI1 traded, and AI2 settled. I guess I couldn't settle, so it just skipped me. I'm gonna trade, skip out settle again. So settle, produce. So he must have lost his good. Again, I feel like I want to check the log, but oops. I'm so used to the normal log that recreating the game from this log is going to be nigh impossible. Like AI1 traded, so he still had his blue good there, and then he settled and somebody else consumed. Right, so he has to consume a good and he chose this one into that. Okay. Wait, what? Doesn't make any sense. Why would he have not put both of his goods into this? I mean, AIs play differently than humans, so I could see it, but it's a little bit surprising. So he'd rather keep his good than get 2 cards. To get a chip and a card out of it, I guess. Not surprising, I mean, that's how AIs tend to play. Even though it's probably wrong. So, trade a good. Consume, that. Choose action, so presumably trade again, West Virginia Trade League. Hand size is 5-4, scores 3-6-5. Now that I'm playing hard AI, I need to actually pay attention to opponents' tableaus. It'd be nice if you could have a way to always see opponent tableaus, because I mean, as an experienced player, I don't want this minimal tableau. I always want to see what they have, but now I have to click every time. So Sky is going to do what? X2 most of the time? Maybe produce, but he could do anything really. And this guy similarly might just produce, even though it's bad. And I mean, I'm not going to overflow unless there's an explore and a produce or whatever. So trade is fine, I think. So dev produce. Guess we go with bank. Bank 2. Choose action. Trade seems pretty good. There's a dev, we're laughing. This guy dev'd what? Replicant robots. Decent looking tableau. Decent. Overall though, I'm pretty impressed with the interface. Like, I'm complaining about minor details, but for like a new player, all of that stuff is pretty much invisible. And all the important stuff is there. So like you can zoom in on a tableau, you can zoom in on the card massively, see everything, all the details you need to know. Things that I know by heart. They're all nice and clear. Very smooth, streamlined, clean. Like, nothing extraneous. So like military power, hand size, chips, score. Everything's as minimal as it can be. Even this area too. Deck size, discard pile size. The icons are nice, pretty clear. Pool of VP chips. I wonder if you can change your like avatar, or probably not, but that's obviously unnecessary for the purposes of this kind of game, I think. So what are we doing now? So choosing action, trade. Seems pretty good, although it might overflow. Yeah, might have done that wrong. Played it too quick. So discard one of these two. Confirm. Because dev there would have been great. Try to get to trade. Choose consume power. I'm like a bit lost sometimes, just because it's a new interface. Discard, I don't want to overflowing by 2. 1 and 2. Confirm, choose action. Oh, they didn't produce though. But dev is pretty good, if a produce does happen. So dev settle. I don't actually have very good settles. If we go GFed, we go down to 5, settle, I mean this is a good settle, down to 4, and then 5 on a dev, down to 0, so that's fine, good enough. A5. I was going to say, I hope it undoes only one thing, but it undoes the whole thing. Because I just want to undo that last thing I did. So one... Whoops. What the hell just happened? Well, that sucks. So I want to undo my discard, but it actually undid the whole thing back to the dev, and then the card I thought I was discarding got played as the dev, and I can't undo that. That's annoying to say the least. But I guess I just need to get used to the interface, and that was going to happen at some point. So now we're settling. So given what happened there, do we change or settle? Still need a good. This is so much worse. I'll be at 9 cards. I don't really want to trade because I might overflow. But hand sizes are large enough that hopefully somebody builds, but yeah. Wow, this guy's 15 points. Let's game took a turn. Discard 3. To have settled trade, so we'll try and do this right this time. Although now it's so much worse because I'm not going to have a good to trade. Let's go to production world. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Could play this, but I go down to 1. You just took the dankest shower, you feel reborn. Yes. This guy's a whole lot of nothing. Duplicating settle powers. What does he even get unproduced? Not much. This guy. Windfalls. Why does this guy have so many points? Just by playing cards, I guess. 11 points from cards. 5 from chips. So basically this will eventually be 2 points for 4 cards. It's really not that good. If I play this right now, this is 2 cards for 1 point. Also not great. So I guess I just pass. But this doesn't seem great. This guy's already at 9 cards. He's got significantly more points than us and has 9 cards in hand as well. Dev and pray there's a produce, or produce and pray there's a dev. Neither is all that likely. So this is saying it's worth 4 points. So that means it tells us what it's worth itself, not what it's going to gain us. Which is a bit different than the way I count normally. So it's worth 6 basically. Plus 6 to a tableau. Not sure how to win this now. No chance he produces. He's probably going to produce a significant amount of the time, so I guess we'll just dev. Okay. Pay 3. Confirm. What did he play? SETI. Not good. It's worth 6. So we're still up by 6. The game could end here if there's a dev and a settle. And we would lose. Probably 2, 4, 6, 7. Almost certainly would lose. But probably have to do it. I could plus 5. I'd go to 4, 5, 6. Nature 6 dev down to 1, and then I could play a settle theoretically. I don't know that dev is that likely. Let alone dev and settle. I don't feel like dev is that likely. So trade is probably fine. Well, dev did happen, but settle didn't. Play the best dev. Pay 1. I like how it feels like poker chips the way that happens. It's kind of cool. Try to get to trade. Consume power. Choose action. Still down by 5. Didn't really draw any devs. We're not going to gain 5 points on the settle phase. So I guess we're supposed to explore +5 here. Hope there's a dev. Well, looks like we're going to lose. So discard 6 out of the explore cards. Confirm. Play our fattest settle. Hope he passes. I mean, there's just no chance that happens though. This is 4 points. This is 5. Wait and see what was played. Yeah. We got more out of the settle than we did. Pay 5. Confirm and lose. So 3-player loss. Score 27, 19, 34. This is now Hardy Ice. And Homeworlds. 4 GS. 4 GSIR. I'm going to lose the will to track my games in my spreadsheet very quickly, I feel like, with this version. Finally. I've been wanting stats modules for my games of race forever. Like, I almost thought of making one my own, myself, with the current AI, like the old AI. Score, done. Let's go again. So, Alpha Centauri, probably. And then discard 2. 2 irrelevant cards. Most of these are irrelevant too. Trade. Explore happened and settle. Have to discard one of these. Play this. Trade. Definitely the game is, this version is more satisfying, the clicking and the sounds and the stuff. I mean, the game was already satisfying for somebody who loves it like I do, but it's cool to have like that kind of feel to it. So choose an action. Could dev. Probably should. There's a settle, I can play this. I have these. Not a lot else going on in my hand, so dev trade. So we'll start with the credits. Basically it feels a bit like Hearthstone the way you like play cards, which is nice. Choose action, dev again. Produce. Pay 2. Naked trade here, or just settle. So this guy's going to trade most likely, and this guy might settle, I feel like. So trade is probably the correct play, but looks like it didn't work out. Don't know what happened though, so consume, consume, consume. This guy traded his blue goods, so I guess I can trade again then. I don't like that it skips by so fast that I have no idea what just happened again. So it went trade, trade, and produce for this guy. So he produced and this guy naked traded. These game states kind of suck, because if I settle he gets a naked trade. If I don't, this guy keeps seeing more and more cards and I get nothing. So I can either settle or I can explore. I can also produce. Produce is a little weak, but they don't get anything. It's hard to know when this guy's going to deviate and actually finally settle, is the problem. And also, without having the log, or the log I'm used to, it's harder to back up and figure out the best play here, so... He dev'd and then traded. This guy... Or no, what? That's me. It'd be nice if the U was always in the same place. Like, why is U in the middle now? I guess it's because, once again, of homeworld order, but nobody cares about homeworld order in the log. So he... AI2, which is the blue guy, and it'd be nice if his homeworld was shown or something so I know which is which. So the blue homeworld traded a blue for 3, then naked traded, and the brown one, or Sparta, traded, produced, trade, produced. Basically, trade, produce. So it's presumably going to keep doing that. So this explore makes more sense. I can just settle next round when he's going to produce. Wow, so he hit his naked trade. This guy finally deviated by settling. So we can't play this, which sucks. Discard 1. That confirmed now. Play this. He's probably going to produce. This guy lost his good, it looks like. Or his goods. Really? So he never consumed that blue good? So we're looking at AI2. Did consume it there. Oh, he naked traded, of course. Right. Okay. Oh shit, I'm showing the wrong scene. Nobody noticed or mentioned. Hiding my hand, basically. Must not be any race players watching. Time to spy. There's one name I don't recognize. Okay, so producing doesn't help at either of them. So in a vacuum, I should probably just do that. Settle, produce. So produce is gonna. That produce action is gonna get us 1 chip. It's a little bit sad. Another settle. Trade that. Consume. So. This guy's getting scary. So he has a crazy engine now. He's probably gonna win. What can we do to stop him? At least we have a produce leech. And this guy also has an engine, but not as good. Hand sizes are fairly large. Dev settle produce. Okay. Could play this into this. Puts me down to 1 card. And I trade for only 3. It's It's really not that good. Alternately, I could do this into this. Going to 7654. And trade for 4. Seems better. Pay 1. X2, X2 trade. Dead, presumably. X2 produce. Not looking like we're gonna win this one. Place a dev. Presumably this. Pay 4. G-Fed. Well, we only has 2 devs, so it's not that bad. This guy, I mean this board. Did he even leech that produce? That's AI1. Wow. So AI2 produced. He X2'd, so he has a 12-point engine at the moment. So long as the other guy produces. Yeah, now we probably have to trade. Dev happens. If we play this, we go down to 1, trade up to 4. It's really not very good. And call dev, we can't play a 6 dev. So I guess we play this. I don't think we can win here. Pay 1. And Geo's okay, but nowhere near enough. But I guess we have to dev, hope there's a settle and explore. Like this is just unwinnable. Or explore, hope there's a dev and settle, also almost impossible. Impossible. Is there any way we can win this ever? What did he play? I'm fairly sure we can never win here. I guess +5. Actually, +1 would make more sense because that's what you have to do when you can't win. Assume you draw the perfect card. So there's no builds, so that doesn't help. Discard A3, 4 base military. Explore 3 more. Keep 1, okay. The Explorer highlighting is also not super intuitive, but that's maybe for race regulars. When you don't have combined Explorer, it's like only the right side. I'm like looking at anything, I don't notice this necessarily. Epic Threadripper? What? What? Press OK to confirm. No, we would like dev hoping there's a settle, but even then we still would not win. But let's pick something. And this one does get us points. The pool is actually an empty here, so that's pretty terrible. There's hard AIs, consume power. Try and do this right this time. So 3-player loss. Switch back. So score finished last, 29-47 30. 2, 3, GS. So look at the stats. Because we love stats. So 4 completed games, 2 wins, all 3 player. Difficulty, I guess I could do like hard plus. So online is completely separate. Wait, what? Easy plus 4 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 2 no wins. Average score on hard, base. Ending any. This is probably what I would usually have, and then this would be all. So high score, low score. Really? I've had between 27 and 29 every time, is that right? At least for the hard games, I guess, yeah. 2 games. First place score, 47. Second for anybody, third for anyone, and then average. And histogram. What? I don't really know what this means. So scores, presumably. Guess I'll see as I have more games. What if I do all difficulties? 20s, 30s, 40s. So scores in the 20s, scores in the 30s. Probably. Yeah, I haven't shown this, I don't think. You can make new profiles. Trash old ones. That was the default one. I wonder if I would ever want to play with an easy one. I mean, even for experimenting? I don't think so. Because it's going to be choosing the same kind of actions, but it's just going to be playing worse. It's just like artificially reducing its score. It's only really useful for newer players. So we can try a 4-player. Whoops. So, wow, this again. Crazy. Trade League 2, wow. If we lose this one. These 3 aren't super relevant. I guess that's fine. So, Old Earth, Terraforming Colonists, and Sparta. This is base game. So, nobody really has any production, so I guess we're just producing here. 3 settles. Almost certainly like that. Trade. Wow. FTA now. I do kind of miss having the big card pop up, so like basically while streaming it's never going to be shown in big because I never really hover over the cards. But at least we have a version now that new players can learn easily. So it's all good. Produce dev doesn't work. Yeah, what do opponents have now? Wow. So trade most likely. What is this yellow here? Huh. So it's showing that he has a bit of military for yellow. That's kind of cool. This is a subtlety I was not expecting. That's nice. Produce, explore is also an option. Explore. Produce is the most important thing, but dev. I don't know how likely dev is. There hasn't been a dev yet. This guy does have 7 cards. And I mean, produce could happen. This guy is probably producing. There's a decent chance he's producing. Produce isn't that likely, honestly. Explore could happen. This guy might explore, so maybe I produce dev. Leech and explore from him. 3 settles. Wow. That really sucks. So now I have to explore, I guess. And he passed on his own settle. This guy settled this. Brutal. I mean, I need trade the gout ASAP. So I explore plus one and then dev, I guess. Simple as that. If there's a dev now, then I lose this. If there isn't, I don't. Okay, I'll trade. Discard one of these. There's a consume, which is nice, but no produce. And there's a settle, so it sucks. So I can keep this and the 0-2 and play it, which ain't bad. So paying, yes. They really nailed the interface. I mean, I already liked the interface a lot with the other AI version that I played all the time. But this is just on another level too. So choose action, produce, I guess. This guy's just out of the game completely. This guy now has a 6-point engine, so he's going to produce it. We're not producing. What are we doing? Deving, settling. If we dev and there's a settle, what happens? We lose our hand, so we don't want that. If we settle and there's a dev, it's even worse. Do want to kind of get this and this out. Hand sizes are pretty low. I think we just explore here. That way we could get this and this out and still save this. If there's 2 builds. So settle produce. Discard 1. I guess this fits better. Are we ever playing this? I mean, settle's happening here. No consume and no dev. Let's just do that. We have 2 blue windfalls, so this might actually end up being more valuable. Settle. So 3, 6, 8. Let's play this round to 5. 7 on explore. No, we would not do that. We would need to build. Eight, 5, 4, 3. Can't play this. It's a little bit awkward. Might have to explore. So I guess I'll play the bigger one. This is a 2-point play with this out. This is a 3-point play, 1 more card. Not really sure. Why does it say this is 4? So I guess this isn't technically in play for the purposes of this scoring. Fair enough. Do we ever play bank? So we're going into 4, 6 on an explorer, 10, 11, 12. I don't know how likely a build phase is. The music's going to be fine for somebody who doesn't play a lot, but definitely will be turning it off soon, personally. Not really sure. I mean, it's all pretty close. Just dump that. Get on with it. Choose an action, so... +1's... well, +5, 4, 5, 10. We could just X2 also. X2 is actually not bad. Hold on a second. We could leisure dev or settle, but not both. And... what are the engines? So, kind of a 6-point engine. He's going to trade, though. I mean, somebody, yeah, we're going to X2, because somebody could produce here. And that doubles our engine size. If they do that... oh, they're not in cards. So X2 seems fine. And somebody does produce. So, start by trading. Now we have a huge hand, and goods. And GFED, and FTA, so now we'll just start deving. And win. So, phases are settle, settle, X2. I find the phases are a little bit subtle, but I guess I'll get used to it. It's not as highlighted as I would expect. Everything else is more emphasized. The least emphasized thing is the action that they chose on like the entire screen. And like for me too. Also, I'm not sure why it's not centered on the active player. So, dev, presumably play GFED. I mean, there is a consume phase. If there wasn't, it would be different maybe. Pay 5. Confirm. Trade. What? Oh, it's just settle phase. Probably fine. Pay 2. Confirm. So we can actually draw a bunch of cards here. And we probably will. I mean, I can either get 2 chips and a card, or 3 cards and a chip. 2 chips and a card. So 1 chip traded for 2 cards. Well, we'll start by trading for cards. Let's see what we get. Sure. Explore, dev, consume, produce. Discard one of these. No settle. I mean, we draw so many cards. Do we really care to play this? If I play this, I go down to 5, dev again, 4. If there's a settle, it's fine, then trade up. Sure. I kind of like that weight. I wish the weight was kind of the automatic, because I guess for multiplayer versus humans it's important for it not to be, but an expert will always want to see what was built. And I like how it flashes up there, so it's like I easily saw they both pass and this guy played colony ship, and that's it. So pay 3 for that. Zero, zero. Scores 29, 28, 24, so actually it's not out of this. 5 cards in hand. Could start just X2ing. If there's a produce, that's a 12-point engine. 12.3 card, 12.6 card engine. I don't have anything great to build, so I feel like X2 is probably fine. So settle X2. Am I playing this? I guess. I can swap back and draw actually an extra card. So it's a tiebreaker, if nothing else. Or maybe point. So pay 2. This is a 3.2 cost play. I mean, we're never playing this. All the deck is about to get reshuffled. Might be good for one of them, this guy. It's okay, 5 points. And who produced here? Nobody? No produce. Pay 1 more. So now, probably just do this and then these 3 into this. Although I could just take all points. I'm still going to be at 7 cards, so I'll probably just do that actually. So select consume power. Consume confirm. I guess the undoing is a little bit less. I'm so used to the other AI where you can undo literally everything. So I'll just need to get used to what you can undo here. Basically there's not a lot of undoing, which is fine. Streamlines the interface more. I don't have infinite options of menu options. So choose action here. Mining conglomerate's good. Scores. So we are up by 5. Hand sizes are pretty large. Do we have the best engine? This guy's a 4-point leech. We must have the best engine. So we must produce in case it doesn't happen. It does happen though. Explorer we keep 1. Settle happens. And no consume. So presumably we play this. Pay 2. Reshuffle has happened. I mean, this is much better than the Board Game Arena interface where you never even know what the discard pile size is, which really sucks. And 1 more, we're just never playing that. I like that even at the highest speed of animation, you still see what happens. Kind of. It's not like invisible. Like when I'm playing on PokerStars, if you turn it on automatic, like instant speed, everything's just instant, you don't see anything happening. So produce on a windfall. I like the producing, like it's better than the actual AI, the old AI. It's more intuitive, and it's way better than Board Game Arena, for sure. However, I'm not sure which produce power it's asking me about now. So I guess this is my bonus, since it's letting me choose both. And that means I don't have any other produce powers left. And it probably doesn't matter that much which color I choose. And move it X2. We're up by 5 only on these guys. This guy cranks for 8. We crank for 10. No. Yes. And we have 1 extra card in hand, and we have a good dev and decent settle. So we're okay against him, and against this guy, he cranks for 2, 4, 6 total. Is this ranked? This is not ranked because I'm playing against AIs, and I'm pretty sure they are going to, if they don't already have a ranking system, they're in the middle of making one. Like I'm not playing online right now, but if I was, I suspect that it would be ranked, and if it's not, then it's going to be ranked soon. So there will be rankings. So you'll be paired against people of equal skill and stuff like that. I haven't kept up on the mobile version, which is going to be the whole same player pool, because I can't play the mobile version, but so it should be cool to see where I end up on that. So press OK to confirm action. I don't remember what action I was doing. Reducing, maybe? No. So it looks like this is how... Oh, this is my action choice, I see. Like it was literal action choice. Action kind of felt like it meant just whatever I'm doing right now. My action was consuming a chip. So dev, settle, consume. I've actually been looking at players to see the action, but I should just be looking here. This is great. And if you want to see exactly who did what, you can check. But this is where I should be looking on the left side. Not used to it is all, since it's a different interface. So dev, settle, consume. So if I play this, I can't play this. This is... I mean, the game will end here if I end it. Maybe even if I don't. This is 3 points, 4 points. This is just strictly better. So yeah, probably just do that. Surely win. Wait to see what they play. So this guy passes on dev, so we could end it here. And surely we win if we do. Up by 10, 20. So yeah. What just happened? Pay 1 to develop. Confirm. Pay 2. Confirm and consume everything. Choose consume power. Confirm. VP pool exhausted. So we do win by 15 in a 4-player game. Oh yeah. Scores 56, 41, 41. I do think you lose a bit of the flavor just having them named Hard AI, Hard AI, Hard AI, rather than the names, but it's like, it's a minor thing. Compared to like AI Data and AI HAL 9000 and stuff. 23. And Homeworlds 40 TC. Try that rematch button, shall we? Resume, score, rematch. Boom. Nice and quick. So, start world usually will be this one. Don't have any military to go with this. Although, I mean, against AIs, that other homeworld might even be better. They just love to produce. Yeah, probably have to always choose that one. One-time trade or 3 trades or whatever it's going to be. So discard 2 now, probably this and this. Our devs are okay, our settles are fine. Pretty good. Pretty easy decision there. Could produce ourselves. In a vacuum, probably should, but we're probably not going to get the most out of it. I don't really want to produce here. I could explore. Seems like an explore hand. All these cards could be played. By exploring, we can play more of them. So settle and make a trade. So discard 1. Wow, we drew ELC as well. So if we get both these out, we need 2 more consume powers. So this and this, basically. So these are the 4 cards we want to get out. So we'll play this. Pay with this and this. I mean, this is not a great one, but until I draw a better consume power, I should probably hold on to it. I don't need the other ones for an engine anyways. Also, we should probably have done wait to see what they played. I wonder if I can undo and see. So play that, wait. So move inland, 2-2-2-1. Which doesn't really change anything. And doesn't let us undo, which is good. Because that would not be fair, because we've seen. Confirm. Probably do the same thing again. Could also produce. One, like this guy's probably going to produce. Maybe not, he has 8 cards. It's like 50-50. Yeah, I'm happy to continue to explore +1/+1 to play these cards. So dev and settle happen. We could go all in for this and this. Which is probably good enough. For now, we produce and then trade. Passing doesn't seem necessary or useful. I would like it if when that was animation was showing that I could click my next thing. Even though we're on instant, I actually have to wait for things to animate, which is kind of weird. Play that, pay 2, confirm. Weird. So I mean it's gonna be trade, trade, and then produce or something. I don't have much of a choice here. Produce. That happens. And trade. There's an explore. We can leech a settle. Hopefully I click trade there. Drag a good to trade. What else happened? Produce. Nice. Trade, trade. Right, because he produced the round before. So trade this. Oh, I like how it showed. I hadn't noticed that. It shows you the trade value of the goods when you are about to trade. That is a nice little addition that could have easily been done in the Keldon AI, never was, nor in the BGA version, Board Game Arena. So consume, that, produce back, draw a card. Wow, we draw consumer markets, and we have a blue. It's just crazy. So we could either just dev this straight up, leech consumes and produces for the rest of the game, and profit. Hand sizes are large though. If we explore, we could play. Explore's actually pretty good here because we could play this, save this, draw 1, and be able to leech a settle off of it. I mean, that would just be a monster board. Although dev's not that likely, but with these hand sizes, it could happen a decent amount of the time, 40% of the time, or something. So I think I'm pretty happy doing that. No settle, and the dev does have it now. So, but there's no consume. That's not ideal, but I mean we needed the dev to happen, and it did, so that's great. We'll leech the settle later. Confirm. What's it asking me for? Okay. Play that, pay 5. Confirm. And now we'll probably just start X2 producing. Choose action. How do instant animations feel? Pretty nice. The only thing I don't like is what I just mentioned, where while the instant animations are happening, it still actually locks you out of doing anything for that second or half a second or whatever. So it's not like Hearthstone where you can always be queuing up actions infinitely, which feels really nice. So now do we X2 or do we trade? Surely we X2 because somebody might produce, and that gives us a 12-point engine if they do. If they don't, there's an explore and settle, which is nice because we can keep credits. Discard 1. Confirm. Basically, they did really good with the interface. All I feel is missing for me personally is a speed version where there isn't all these confirmations all the time, and you'll be just like going really nuts. I mean, I don't play that fast in general, but so if I'm noticing that, it's a bit clunky for experienced players. So settle, play that. I guess I just keep this. Because I'm not going to draw any cards here anyway. Unless there's an explore next round. And then on the produce I draw 3. Not really sure. I mean, I don't expect we can lose here. But I've been surprised before, so pay... Like, especially when you're not paying attention to what these guys are doing. So you see this guy has an 8-point engine, so... We're basically even with him, and he's a point up, so... But I X2'd here and he traded. But that means he can play a big card next round, and I can't. So consume power, this... And he leeches that produce too. So we might actually not win here. So we're by 4 on him, but other people have good scores, decent scores as well. This guy might actually produce. But he has 6 cards, so it's not guaranteed. So we have to produce here. I mean, our draw engine is better than his, so wow. I wish, like, this keeps happening, and I saw people mentioning it, that so around like that where nobody calls a build phase or an explore phase, I'm always gonna want to know what just happened. Like, I need to know to play optimally, and I have to go back into the log, which is kind of clunky to do. So, and you see there actually was a build phase, it's just that I couldn't play in it. Which I guess makes sense. Could have been anything. So they all settled, and I produced. The scores are really tight. So now this guy has an even bigger engine now, so he has a 10-point engine on the leech. So that's not good. And this guy just played trash, and this guy played something okay. So what are we hoping for here? A settle, and that this guy passes on settle, and that somebody produces. But even that's not that great. In any case, we have to X2. So dev happens. So if we play this, we go down to 3. There's no produce, so we probably have to start with this one. Play 1. We can actually play that. So do that. Consume. And he did X2. He did dev 2. Not good. So we're definitely behind with this monster board. Drag. What? There's a bug here. Drag %D goods to consume. Guess I'll put screen this in case Temple Games is not watching. So drag 3 goods, confirm, and then consume that. So we're down by 3. The pool is at 12. He has 1 card in hand, so if there's a dev and a settle, what happens? We go to 4, 3, 2, 3. So there'd have to be an explorer, dev, and a settle to get this and this out. But that would be pretty good. I think we can win if that happens, but that's pretty specific. Although he's probably going to produce. He has the best engine, so I don't think that explore dev settle really ever happens. So in that case, we're hoping that one build phase happens, presumably settle, and that this guy has to pass on it. But that's not good because we're down by 5. Like, Why are we even producing here? We should probably not be producing. So I could explore, leech a dev and a settle. I could dev, which I think lets me leech a settle. Yeah. And settle is probably a little bit more likely to happen. If I settle, I can't leech a dev. So one of the ways to win, I guess, is to dev and leech a settle. So we'll do that. No produce. Oh, that's interesting. That can't be a bad thing because he has no hand size, right? So as long as builds are happening and no produce is happening, we can gain on him. So discard 1. Confirm. Develop. Presumably play this. And the game can't end here. He passes on dev, which is good, but it's only a point. And then settle. If we play this, we go down to 1. And if he passes on settle, then we would have an equal engine and equal number of points, but I would draw more and produce, so I guess we'll play this. Alternately, I could do this and trade, which doesn't do anything. X2, which gives me 2 points. And this guy could end the game next round, but he called settle. Could easily end next round, and actually he's ahead of me, I mean, which is a bit scary. You know if this is going to be on Linux? I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know if like the typical Steam game is released on Linux. How does that even work? Like, I guess I would expect no. But I mean, it's on Android, Apple, phones, and pads, or whatever they're called. So out of the loop in that technology stuff. No iPad for me. But and then on Steam, it's presumably on Windows. I don't remember if anybody actually. I'm pretty sure that the old AI runs on Linux, so it wouldn't be that hard for them to get it on there. But from there to whether they are they actually doing it. And like, I don't know if it's going to be released on Mac either. I'd have to check the. I mean, I read the Steam page. I don't remember seeing anything about Mac or Linux. But I really don't think it would be that hard for them to add it. Do Steam games? I don't know enough about Steam. I don't know if Steam games ever like release on Linux, like have Linux versions on there or not. I feel like I've never really noticed that. But it's like, why wouldn't they? And like for this, they could. They definitely could. I guess if there's demand for it, they probably would as well. Not really sure, but I guess to win this, we have to hope he has to pass next round, not end it. So, do that. Click wait and see what gets played here. Yeah. Pay 3, keep 1. Oh, we can actually keep this, which is kind of cool. Could be a 2-point play. Yeah, I feel like it's going to end here. And I'm going to lose. Scores are crazy tight. 25, 27, 27, 28. By x2, I go to 29, which is probably not good enough. I guess I produce and hope that either there's no builds or that this guy can't build on whatever build is called. But it's probably an end here. But I don't think I can win anyway if there's a build. So. Yeah, so I'm going to lose. Valve made a thing called SteamOS, which is based on Debian. And in the Steam store, if it says SteamOS for the platform, you can usually play it on their distributions as well. Nice. Yeah, I really don't think it would be hard for them to add it because, as I mentioned, for the old AI version, which this is based off of, there was Windows, Linux, and Mac versions. So they could. I'm sure they have a long list of to-do things. Like they still have to release multiple expansions that are already out, like in the physical game. So they would have to probably get that stuff done first. But in the long term, I think they would probably consider it. So yeah, so here we're just gonna lose basically. I don't think there was any other way for me to play this though. There's a consume. So this is a point play. Point for a card. Wow, did he actually pass? Wow. Oh, that's actually a sound effect that I need to make a note of actually. I have a secret project in the works that I cannot talk about. But that sound effect that I was just reminded of is part of it. So, choose a consume power. They're all the same. So dump that in there, get a point, produce infinite. So, can we win this? So this guy's going to X2 for 10, so he's going to finish at 37 plus build. Wow, I can actually play FTE here. So if there's a dev here, we guaranteed win. It's worth 10 points. But actually, it might be that we need to call dev here. I've been in a situation before against AIs where they don't build very often, so I would X2 in this spot, hoping somebody devs for me to win, and then they don't. And I replay it, and if I had dev'd, I would have won, kind of thing. So I've learned a few tricks playing against AIs, and one of them is potentially that you need to dev here. So if I do dev and somebody consumes, I'm getting 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 points. So my score is 44. So can this guy possibly beat that? He'd have to explore +1/+1 to reach a 6 dev in the first place. And then he needs 17 points. So 3, 4, 5, need 12 points out of a 6 dev. So there's no way. So this guy can't beat us if we dev. This guy is at 28. Has a full hand. So let's say theoretically he does the most optimal thing, which is X2. He'd get 4 points to 32. Plus he needs a 12 point 6 dev. And or a settle combination. Seems rather unlikely. He said he has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is pretty far off. G-Fed. I don't think anybody has G-Feds. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Also not enough. So I don't think he can win if we dev. And then this guy who's in the lead is the main guy. So if he X2s, he only has 4 cards in hand, so that's a good sign. If he X2s, he goes to 38 because he can discard 2 for chips. Plus builds. So he needs 6 points out of builds where he can't get a 6 dev. Best case scenario, somebody explores and he gets some big settle, like a 4-3 yellow. He already has that one. Let's say 3-2 brown would be 4 points. No, he actually can't consume. He only has 1 consume power. His best play would probably be Mining Conglomerate, which he could have. So if he does have Mining Conglomerate, he goes to 34, 36, 38. Let's say plus a settle. 40. And then on consume he wouldn't be able to get anything. So yeah, so we can't, I don't think we can lose if we dev here basically. Of course it's possible the game doesn't end if this guy passes, but there's a settle and a consume. So start with this. Paying 4. Confirm. Settle the only card we can. I mean, I'm not going to double check anything because I just did all the math, so I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter what they played. And then pay 1. And consume. So this one. Confirm. This one. We have 3 left for 3 goods. Perfect. Did we do it? If I looked faster, I would have seen. I'm actually curious to see if I cancel that, what happens. It'll just continue. Cool. It's funny, my first thought is, let's undo and try the other way and see, but actually that doesn't exist in this version of the AI. That's fine. So 4-player win. Versus AIs. Scoring 46, 39, 37, 44. So I lost both of my hard AI games in 3-player and won both my hard AI games in 4-player. Which is a bit strange because it theoretically should be more difficult to beat 3 AIs. Homeworlds. Let's go back. 0, 3, and Sonora. I think I'm just going to go back to 3-player because that's the format I want to play more of anyway. It's more difficult in general. However, not settings. Resume, score, done. Still feel like that's a bit convoluted. New game. Actually, we can check stats for those who haven't seen how it works. Leave all that the way it is, I think. So, scores, high score, nice. Kind of cool to have this stuff. Although there's not that much stats actually. Now that I've played and looked at this. Completed games is, sure, good to you definitely want to know that. Wins, ties, forfeits. Like, it's funny that they don't show losses, so you have to do the math before you feel bad. Oh wait, there's a multiple page. What the? Oh my goodness. Well then. There's more. But wait, there's more. Wow, what is all this? There's way more stats than I imagined. So actions chosen. Explore +5, so I guess this is how many times I've chosen. This is pretty funny actually. My playstyle exposed. So 2 +5s, 6 +1/+1s, cards explored, maximum total, nice. Cards kept, 2 kept, maximum. I guess from a normal explorer, keep 2. Total 22 cards discarded during cleanup, so end of round. That's kind of cool. And this is just explore, jeez. Develop actions. Settle actions. I've only called settle once. And I've developed 13 times. But yeah, I mean, it's against AIs. So 20 develops played, 6 max in 1 game. Cool, there's actually stats here that we've never really tracked before. Like there's some stats aficionados in the race forums on Board Game Geek. And something like this we've never really tracked, like how many developments you've gotten at most in the game. Actually, we do, I guess. At the end of the day, it ends up being like the maximum possible, so like 13 or whatever. 6 devs, 3 at most, total 8. Military strength, 6. Settle actions. So how do I scroll down? Not seeing it. Oh, dragging. Right, mobile games. Settle actions, world settled. It's weird that my scroll wheel doesn't do anything but dragging. I feel like I should probably mention that to them. Like scroll wheel dragging. Not doing anything is kind of weird. I could actually probably play this just with my screen, which is interesting. So colors of worlds, military worlds, gray worlds, trade actions 13, average, what? Max cards 4, average 4. So it tells you the average trade value you're getting out of each color. So I'm getting more trade value out of my blues than my browns so far. Double VP actions 5. Novelty goods consumed for chips. Maximum total. Maximum in 1 crank 10. Cool. Very cool. I mean, all this can be sorted by all this stuff. So this is very in-depth stats compared to what I was expecting. I don't think people are going to be complaining about not enough stats. It seems like plenty. What was it? Yeah, hard. Produce 8 actions by color. Takeovers, right? That'll be fun. That's in an expansion. It's not available in the beta anyways at the moment. Attempts, successful attempts, defenses, successful defenses, takeover strength, defense strength. And that was just page 2. You'll have to bear with me. I definitely want to look through this. I'm sure some people are curious. Again, I'm pretty sure this is not in the mobile version, so even players that are playing the mobile version might not have seen this. Old Earth, so what is this? Start Worlds. Base game, each expansion. Nice. It's like your max score, average, and how many times you played it. And New Worlds. Next page, 6 devs. Nice. I wonder if it sorts it by points or something. I guess it's... I was going to say it's alphabetical, but no, it's not. It's some ambiguous order. Goal stats, so that's an expansion thing again. Total times you've claimed it, I guess. This one's not that interesting. What would be interesting would be to also have the win rate when you claim the goal or something. This page is a little bare. I think I'm going to give them a bit of feedback on that one for an option. And that's the last page. Wait, what? What was the takeover thing? Game stats, game scores. Wait, there's more pages on the other stuff too? No, I'm lost now. So the game stats, game scores, histogram. There's multiple pages for this. So the page 2 is the same on each different one. So there's actions. Oh, here's the takeovers. Cool. I approve. Play another game or 2, probably just one more. I'll play 3-player. Hard AIs, go. Yeah, actually, I need to track it's New Worlds promos somehow. So, this one seems pretty good with production, cheap production world. Not a lot of incentive for this. No windfall, no military, no useful military. Probably play that homeworld. Basically never play this. I mean, we have way too many consume powers, so these cards are both pretty inefficient here. But I mean, it's not like we're going to play this ever, nor this. In the base game. So, confirm. We could trade. We could settle. We don't want to settle. We could produce. If we produce, unleash, or consume, that action, that produce action gives us kind of gives us 3 cards and a chip. Or we could just trade to get 2 cards. Somewhat it's kind of weird. I haven't played with it a lot, so I have to kind of wrap my head around how the efficiency of it. I like the green glow here that I hadn't really noticed. Produce. Let's produce good. Most of the time this guy's going to settle. I think it might even be 90% of the time, honestly. So with that in mind, Reducing gets us a chip and 3 cards. I'm not sure. Because when he doesn't produce, we get nothing, which is like 10% of the time or whatever, 20%. Trading gets us 2 cards. I mean, that seems inefficient when you have this power. You'd basically, I think you would probably never want to trade. Chip and 3 cards isn't, well, I was going to say isn't that much for produce. Actually, it is for 1 action. I was comparing it to a brown where producing and trading gets you 3 cards, but that's 2 actions. I guess I'm just going to go with my intuition here. Produce. So there is a settle. And what are we keeping? I guess this, for sure. Oh wow. Good leeches. At least we know consume's gonna happen, so we can just produce, although if we produce every round and they consume every round, we get 3 cards and a chip every round. And he gets 4 cards every round. And he gets 3 cards every round. So it's pretty break even. Actually, we can X2. It's another option. But that doesn't seem great. And also produce is good if ever they don't actually trade here. Like if this guy calls settle and doesn't get a consume power. Although it's possible we get nothing too if nobody consumes. I mean, one of them has to consume here. Like 95% of the time. I don't know, produce seems good enough to me. So settle, consume, produce. So what was built? Just Pilgrimage World. Which kind of sucks because they both are going to lose their goods, but it's not entirely surprising. So choose consume power, certainly that. So what happened there? This guy got 4 cards, I got 3 cards and a chip. And this guy got 1 card and a chip. So basically he gets a card every round. So that was pretty good. Could do the same thing again. This guy probably wants to consume, I would think. I don't know for sure though, it's only a blue good, so maybe he doesn't care that he loses here. He might actually produce, oddly enough. I wouldn't be surprised to see the AI produce in this spot. In which case we would want to consume. And this guy probably is going to build Dev or Settle. Settle is fine by us, especially if he produces. So I guess we'll X2 here. Seems fine. Unfortunately he has the Dev and not the Settle. So we were close. So we have to pass on Dev and he plays what? Merchant Guild. And at least he didn't lose his good, so he didn't gain anything. He gained 2 cards on produce, man. And we get a good back, so get some power. Now what? We could produce. This guy's board hasn't changed. If he produces every round, he gets a chip and a card every round. So he might actually produce. This guy, I mean, produce is pretty bad though. This guy's probably going to trade. Might produce. So maybe we should just be settling here. I think that seems good to me. So that we can get this on the leech. I mean, it's an engine too. If there's produce happening every round and we extra every round, we get an 8-point engine. Just with these 2 cards. We have this backup as well. We're at 7, 3, 4. So we could play this and still have this as a leech. The rest of this is pretty much irrelevant. Looks like a settle to me. So, explore, settle, produce. No consume. And this guy does produce into this guy's board, which is gotta be wrong, given his board. But he does it. Discard one of these 2 cards. And then settle. Certainly, almost certainly this. Pretty sure this is better than this. Maybe not. Might be early enough that this is better. What are we even doing next round though? So we're gonna have 2 goods. I could trade for 4 cards and a chip if I play this. Or I could X2 for 4 points and a chip. Or 2 points and 3 cards. Weird. They're all very close. Whereas with this one, it would be 4 chips or 3 cards, 1 chip. 3 cards, 2 chips. This card just throws off all the math. If I produce in the future, produce would be pretty good because I could leech this power and then double VP, depending. If I have all 3 of these, I could double VP for 6. I don't expect I really ever want to trade, so I'm just going to play this one, I think. This produce here, though, and this does get cards back soon. I'm just going to play this one. I don't think it makes a huge difference. I mean, it will make a difference in the game, but I don't think in the long run that either play makes a big difference in this spot. And this way we can actually trade here if we want. So this player will probably trade. This player will probably produce. Almost certainly. This is going to be trade produce here. 90% of the time. Which means we just X2. So much of that 90% of the time, they both settle. So, I guess we'll just play this. Seems good. 1, 2, 3. Confirm. It's another production world. A bit scary. This guy's board's a little bit weak, but I mean now he has a 6-point engine. But we have what? 6-point engine with a lot of draw. Actually, yeah. And yeah. So consume now. We can either get 4 chips and a card, or 2 chips, 3 cards. So do we want 2 cards or do we want 2 chips? Score-wise, we're behind this guy by a significant amount. And we'll still be short a card to get this out. Unless there's an Explore. Explore is really not likely at all to happen this game. And I will be using that consume power after, so I think I'm just taking the points here. The thing here too is this guy might just produce anyway, so we could explore if we can figure out he's going to produce. AIs love to produce, like one of them is probably going to produce here. Problem becomes at a certain point when your board becomes too good they stop producing, but I don't really know that well when that point is. Like this feels like he might produce into me, even though it's a terrible idea. It's not that terrible of an idea. I feel like produce is pretty likely from this player here. But I mean, this guy gets so much out of produce. This guy might consume. Probably not. Explore. Not really sure, but I will explore. So settle, no produce. Discard 1. Look at this. Now we produce. So this guy now has an 8-point engine when he produces. We have an 8-point engine with 2 cards. He has 1. So he has an 8.1 card engine, we have an 8.2 card engine, and we're ahead of him. He can't really do anything unless he produces though. So we could just X2. And this guy continues to play Production Worlds. And we'll draw infinite on a produce. I don't really want X2 because that just gives him 2 cards anyways. Produce it is. I mean, I need to probably produce here in case this guy doesn't actually produce, because how else am I going to beat this guy? Well, he does produce and he's settled. I feel like as I play this more, I'll get used to looking to see what phases were called. Earlier I was complaining about having to check the log and whatnot. But by looking at what actions they have, I could immediately see what happened. So it was settle here, produce here. So now the question becomes, do we X2 or do we produce? And I think because this guy just has a 6-point engine on the leech, we can't produce, because then he would have a 12-point engine by X2ing every round. So we just have to X2. We could also trade, theoretically. This guy's at 19 now, another Production World. X2ing is great. I mean, if he produces here, which he might, just actually helps in the sense that he can get an extra good into this thing, so he might actually produce. In any case, we're consuming, and I think we're just double BPing. We have this too, so it's like a trade league. GFED is not really what we wanted to see, but I guess it could be worse. It's only 4 points. And he didn't trade, so he's going to have no hand next round. So it's not terrible. Now, how do we consume? There's no way for me to keep my green good. So I can either keep a blue good, which is kind of pointless, or use this power. So I guess I'll just do that. Not think about it too much. So dump that and that in there. Confirm. So we're down by 2, he has 2 cards in hand, he can trade for a lot, and produce will give him a lot as well. Hopefully he massively overflows, I guess. I mean, hopefully he just does something stupid like Explorer. Or Dev pass on his own Dev, but yeah. Not expecting that. And by producing, I guess I could have got 8 points there. Did I do that wrong, maybe? No, I got 8 either way. Yeah. So I have an 8-point engine, he has an 8-point engine. So basically he's out of the running mostly. But this guy is dangerous. So we produce, in case this guy doesn't. But he does. Still gets us an extra 2 points. And he devs, which is better than settle because we can't settle. Now, I guess we play Public Works. Because there's some chance we can actually play both of these. Is there a chance? We're down to 3. Pool is 11, so actually the game will end next round. So it's actually probably really good that he devved, because what's the worst he can play here? He has 2 cards in hand, he can play a 4 cost? So 3 points you can get at most. And so you go to 26, and then he draws 3. And then he could play a 4-point dev. 27. So let's say he hits 27, we win, we beat that. So I think we just play the bigger dev here. Actually, either way, if there's we'd need an Explorer to play the other one. So this way we guarantee getting more points when there isn't a dev. Mostly that's correct. Like, I mean, if there's a settle or something, it gets weird, but So press OK to confirm that. Interesting. He's not going to produce the most brown, so that's not going to do that much. But he will consume for chips next round. So produce on a windfall and go. So he's at 4 cards. So now if there's an explorer, he could play a 6 dev. If he x2s, he goes to 30. We go to 31. So like it's possible everybody's going to x2 here. And if we do, we win. And so a good amount of the time that's what's going to happen here. Otherwise he's deving and we have to hope this guy doesn't explore. Pretty unlikely he's going to explore, but I mean he can't win if he x2s, so I mean he might have to hope that nobody else x2s and therefore he has to x2 kind of thing. Endgame can get a little weird with AIs because their score has a large, I feel like has a large effect on how they play the final round. And I still haven't wrapped my head around fully wrapped my head around that, how they do that exactly. So I'm pretty sure we checked x2. He did get a 6 dev out. Did I math that wrong? I thought he had 4 cards in hand. See if I could undo, I could check what the hell just happened, but I can't. -3, I just mathed that wrong. That's really scary. That's crazy. Oh, I mean, there's no way we win now, I don't think. That's insane. The game will end no matter what. 3, 4. He x2'd. Yeah. So we just consume maximally, which is these 4. I don't think we are going to be even close to winning. We're down by 9 points. Wow. Wow. Another 3-player loss. So 31, 40, 26. How did I win? 1 wins again. The Nameless. And the Homeworlds. GS2 and TC. Alright, I think it's time to call it. I'm gonna look for a host. Perhaps in the board gaming section. See if anyone's there. Since we might have a bit more board gamers in the mix than usual tonight. By that I mean like 1 or 2. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Let's see. What's this? Can't even tell what it is. My kind of meeple launch party. Wow, we were #1 board gamer. This guy's got crazy shit going on. Probably just do these guys. No worries, dude. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm gonna continue to play this. If we're lucky, there'll be online play with opponents. Might get to play against the developers of the game or other people. Otherwise, I'll continue to play more AI games. Get better at the interface and stuff. Find more bugs, maybe. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Much appreciated. Much appreciate. I don't know what this is. Let's check these two, I guess. Manchester Madness app. That actually looks decent as well. Decent. I've been like slacking on hosting board gamers in general, because usually it's Pooflar fans in the mix. My kind of meeple. I don't know what this is at all, so I want to see before I host it.
Every time I've tried to use it, it just says can't use it here.
I just sent her like a bunch of
What do you search for?
The other ones, let me do the other ones.
Why is it so laggy? Is it me?
You just have to wait till after midnight.
What if you search for?
Should close Racer in case it's causing the problem.
Let me get my background.
That's one thing I noticed if the developers are still there.
Alright
That's
guys, hey.
There's no way to close the app easily. Yeah, they seem to be lagging. So I think we'll pass on them. See what this is about. This is who the heck knows what's going on.
was
Here.
purple for a second.
Board game online.
Never mind, I should have used my gun.
Seems like he's playing pretty crappy games. So I think we'll just go with this. Another app. See how cool that is. But yeah, have a good night, guys. I will be back tomorrow. See you later.
So just 3?